maybe the solution is that Canada becomes the 51st state.
Oh, I don't think it would. I think it's a bad idea for the Americans, and I think this is the singular. Well, they could just create us as a territory without voting rights, which that would negate all of this. So like Puerto Rico, but demographically, I think we would ruin the United States. So if they did, if they gave us
True.
statehood,
I was thinking that it would be good for Canada, but you're right. It would
if they
ruin
gave us
America.
statehoods, and this is sort of
Poor America, all those Canadians.
Yeah, you would have 40 million Democratic voters. So you would just completely, and even if like Trump brought this up when he was taunting Trudeau, he's like, hey, we're going to make you could be the 51st week. Maybe we bring 2 states in. We could have like, you be the governor of the hippie state and it could be a right wing state. But I started thinking about like, what would Republican Canada look like? And even our conservative areas, I've seen the polls because we do the poll every presidential election. We ask, who would you vote for? Who would Canadians, even like Alberta, like goes wild they even go wild for Kamala Harris. They went like 80% for Obama. And then even Kamala Harris is like 60-70%. So
that's nuts.
to draw out, if you had to gerrymander like Republican Canada, it'd be like Lethbridge and then just like a little highway over like some part of like, I don't know, maybe a piece of Thunder Bay. So there's not much to go on. So yeah, it's by U.S. standards. We're incredibly left wing. So I mean, that's the story that goes all the way back to the anti-slavery debate. Is the Americans were always hesitant to bring in states because it's going to change the balance of power in Washington. That's why the last time they brought in states, they brought in a Republican state. They brought in a Democratic state. Now the Republican state was Hawaii, and the Democratic state was Alaska. This changed, but they still kind of cancel each other out. So if you could get another country of 40 million, right wingers, and they agreed to be Americans, you could add both of them at the same time. I don't know where this country is. I don't know where you could find 40 million like American style, because they have a very distinct kind of conservatism. Even right wingers by European standards are usually big government. They usually like gun control. If they added us, it would be Democratic supermajorities for at least a generation. Democratic presidents constantly, so no Republican would ever approve it. And right. I think that's the singular reason, because I mean, if you look at, there's no reason they should have taken us over. I mean, there's any okay, so it's 1898, the gold rush happens, with a bunch of gold is found in Canada. It's mostly American prospectors, so you have a piece of Canada that is lightly defended with a bunch of Americans in it. If that was a piece of Mexico, I mean, that happened several times. They just take it and say it's American now, and they didn't do it in our case. Similar with sort of the prairies, we're literally sheltering Sitting Bull after he, mopped the floor with the U.S. cavalry. And again, we're going to leave him there. We're not going to take Canadian territories. So, all of Canadian history is just a miracle of the Americans not taking us over. So, and that's, partially we're savvy at it and we're good at convincing them not to invade us. But I think most of it is just the Americans didn't want to, for any number of reasons. Because I think it actually, in the long run, it helps that they can have a Canada. It's like Germany and Austria. It's good to have sort of a weird mirror image of you that can sort of, I don't know, let the pressure off